on there.
Hey,
Now I
Rich.
know
Hi.
Rochelle. Hi, Rochelle. Now I know Deb's music should go off in a second here because Deb just did a 49.99 super sticker
Oh,
here. So thank you very much. So I just know that the music. I don't know why it there.
Sorry I'm late.
oh,
I'm
you're fine.
always fashionably late.
Deb's True Crime
Darn
Notes.
animals.
It's like
$49.99. Thank you. Happy birthday, and here's a layman for playing my video. Smiley face.
ah.
Thank you, Deb.
We're gonna ignore those little typos that she has in there too. Thank you, Deb. I am paying you for playing my video. Anyways, thank you so much, Deb. And so, Rochelle, okay. So, again, Adam really had no clue who was coming on at all today.
Excited
Um,
now.
no. So, Rochelle, do you want to let Adam know why it is you're here today?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can chit chat for a little bit first, but I came on to do a reading for you for your birthday.
Okay.
So, she set it up. And it's your choice if you want mediumship, or a more intuitive guidance kind of thing. So that's what I'm here for, I guess.
Wow. Okay, so what are my choices?
So mediumship, so someone on the other side,
Okay.
or intuitive guidance, as in more like a psychic type reading.
Well, let's chit chat first, but I think I want intuitive. I don't know if I want to go like I think the other one's a little bit more.
That's totally up to you. I can't help if somebody does come in. I don't do tarot, Shirley. I don't do tarot, so it's not tarot nonsense. So it's totally up to you the way you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah, which one did you pick out? You picked the one just to do a reading, right? Not
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a feeling you would just because.
But whatever
Up to you.
whatever happens. I'm open. So
Yeah. Okay. So Rochelle, you said you wanted to talk first. So absolutely.
Well, I thought we could just chit chat and get the energy going. That's kind of,
Oh
Yeah.
instead of just kind of jumping into
yeah. Oh no, we got
stuff.
positive energy vibes going here. Adam, just quickly, Tom said your PayPal wasn't Aspen Connor, but that's what your thing says on my thing. Aspen Connor, correct? ASPEN. I mean, I legitly looked it up just to double check
Okay.
that quickly.
Yeah, it's at Aspen Connor.
Yeah, ASPENCONNER. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's trying to say that it's not.
So, how's your birthday today?
It's been good. It's been quiet. It's been kind of low key, but it's been nice.
That's good.
Oh, you're streaming from your channel right now as well, aren't you, Rochelle?
Yep.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know who the It's a Crime and Shame channel is, I asked Rochelle if she could do a special reading for us. Rochelle's been a good friend here on the internet, and I thought I wanted to surprise Adam with something different. Aspen Adam Connor. So that's who we are. It's a Crime and Shame, and we got to know Rochelle through Lewis actually, and so I just want to say again, Rochelle, so grateful. So we're actually streaming from three channels. We're streaming from Adam's channel, this channel, and your channel now. So hello to all the people from Sleuth's channel over there, the Psychic Sleuth.
Hey, everyone.
Yep, nice to meet you. And again, we're celebrating Aspen Connor's birthday today on the 13th. I'm just glad it didn't land on a Friday the 13th.
Oh, come on. Friday the 13th are fun.
I know. But
13
yeah.
is a lucky number. It's my three puppies' birthdays today too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Aw.
So I help deliver them, so it's like that's
13's
how
my
I know their birthday.
I'm not gonna lie, like 13 was never. I guess it's because when you grow up, we were told that 13. I was told that like 13 is an unlucky number. So, when as a kid, like you're told certain things and they stick in your head because you're a child. And one of them was don't play with the Ouija board, and that 13 was an unlucky number, and don't walk across a black cat, and don't walk underneath the ladder and stuff like that.
So I played with the Ouija board, and I was probably drawn to the number 13 because people said that. It's always been my favorite number.
13's not. It's not a bad number. I look at it as a lucky number, but I think the way that the world's portrayed it, that it comes off as a negative thing, and it's not.
I was gonna say,
I
wonder where that started from, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't have to jump off here and save my animals from rain, but we're getting monsoon right now.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We had bad thunderstorms.
If I have to disappear for a second, that's where I went.
Okay.
It stopped. It rained. I let them in. It stopped. They put them out because they weren't behaving.
Yeah.
And now now it's thundering really loud again. It's good though, because it's been like 98 here, 101, 103.
Oh, so it's kind of cooling it down a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
It's actually still really hot over here on the because I always forget, because I always think, because Rachelle, just correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes you're Central and sometimes you're Pacific.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm sometimes I'm Mountain and sometimes I'm Pacific.
Yeah. Okay, because that's why I was like, when you said that you were the same time as me this time, I was like, oh, wait a second, because I thought last time you were like an hour difference. And then, but now you're at the same time. Because yours doesn't move?
We don't move in Arizona,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
We don't change at all.
Yeah. Anyways, right. Again, thank you guys all for being here. Actually, do you want to just quickly remind people about what it is that you do for the people that haven't seen?
I will. I think I'm gonna go let them in though. I'm seeing lightning like strike through my window and it's freaking me out a minute.
Okay, absolutely.
So
Do that, and I'll see you back in a minute.
All right, I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Wait, how do I get off here? You have to remove me, right? Oh wait, here we go.
No. Yeah, there you go. Just put yourself on mute there, on there. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. Like I said, we're streaming from the 3 channels here. And again, it's a pleasure to have Psychic Sleuth join us. Oh, I'm going blurry. Hold on. One sec. Adam, I'm ditching you for a sec. I just literally
Everyone's
went
thinking
blurry.
it's my birthday.
Yeah.
You think I'd be used to it by now?
Okay.
It's funny. I've never. This is the first time I've ever streamed with a channel that is on the same StreamYard, because it's neat the way that the comments show up.
Whoops.
See, like they show up. They see the little symbol that's next to the name.
Oh
in
yeah.
StreamYard.
Yeah.
That's really
Cool.
neat.
Oh yeah. I see that. Huh. This is the first time, when I was asking Rachelle, she was like, can I stream it for mine? And, I remembered that StreamYard did some sort of update with it. So before you would have to add a person. And I'm like, so I'm watching this video and I'm like, well, I don't want to pay for the $50 StreamYard just to get extra seats, because when Deb was on here, I had the extra seat, but there was no need for it because I was just paying for something. So I had taken that off. And then Rachelle said, oh, it's in the settings. But because I've never had to use it, because it is a new feature to StreamYard. So it's one of those things that if you are a YouTube channel creator, when you're creating the video, the live, you just go into your settings and make sure that you have that the guests can turn on streaming to their channel as well. And so, because of this, actually, Rachelle taught me that I just had to go into my settings, because I had seen it come up before, but I just didn't pay overly attention to it. I was just like,
Right.
yeah, another StreamYard thing. Okay, whatever, But it's nice that they actually added that so that the guests can literally click to go live to their own channel.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see here. So let's see. Happy birthday from Kara, Kim French.
Thank you.
Julie Hansen. T says, I like this. My husband likes tea. He's British. Same. Bethany, my granddad's boat was named Lucky 13 on there. I had to look twice. Yeah, only because of Adam, I must say that probably the number 13 doesn't bug me as much anymore because I was like, when I hear 13, I was like, oh, 13.
And it's funny because I there's so many things. I'm sure when a number stands out to you, of course it's gonna like resonate more. But like I there's so many things that have been like prominent in my life that have taken place like on the 13th, and so I always find it interesting when numbers kind of follow you along in life that way.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, the number 7 for me, and I know 7's a number for a lot of people, and it was always my favorite number, and until a certain point that my dog died, and then that was like when my divorce happened from my ex-husband and stuff like that, and I was like, so much for my favorite number 7. But then it turned around again, and then so it's one of my favorite numbers again. I think 7's I think 7 though is a common number, kind of like 7 and 13.
Well, that's why I've always joked that, because I'm like, of course, my birthday would be 7/13. Like a lucky number and an unlucky number.
Right. I know, and my wedding anniversary with my husband was just like our 8 years was just the other day, and that's 7/11. And all I can think about was a Slurpee, says the diabetic.
Right. Bethany W says, that's it's funny, I've never heard anyone say like that's their favorite number, but I like it. It's interesting. 333.
Well, I like it because my birthday's on July 3rd, so we'll just go 333. Yeah. On there, yeah. So Mama T
Thank
said,
you, Mama.
Yeah. So I think we had a T just above, didn't we? No, someone said I like tea.
No, there's a T in here though.
Oh, okay. So I was right. Okay, on there. But yeah. Oh,
I'm back. Sorry.
That's okay. Stop talking about her, Adam. We were just
Were we talking about me?
Trying to, but then you showed back up again.
I hope it was good.
All good.
No, of course it wasn't. Yes. No. How's everything? Is everything all settled?
Yeah, it was just there was so much lightning outside. It just like freaked me out. So I was like, I better let him in, or I'm gonna sit here and worry.
Yeah. We were just talking about 13 and people talking about dates and 11/11. When you look at the time and you see 11/11 for yourself, Rachelle and Adam, like for me, it's always meant that somebody around you that you love, like we always say make a wish, but it's really that somebody around you that you love is saying hello to you, type of thing. So do you ever look at 11/11 that way at all? Like a lot.
So any repeating numbers, like I always tell people to look on like Joanne Sacred, because she tells you what each of the it's a on Google, if you just Google Joanne Sacred angel numbers, and it'll tell you what each of them is about. But anytime that you're seeing repeating numbers, it's usually a message from your guides or your loved ones, but it's that you are going through an awakening or an enlightening for you to be able to see and recognize that. But it usually is just messages. And that was actually confirmed. I've always known that, but I watch a lot of NDEs, near-death experiences, on the near-death experience channel, and she actually one of the people talked about that it was said that the repeating numbers, that they were messages.
Oh, because I was gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4 I see all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like I can remember years back to you waking up 1, 2, 3, 4 1, 2, 3, 4. I see it all. Besides 11/11, 1, 2, 3, 4 is that consistent number that I constantly see, and it reminds me of like the 11/11 number, just because I see them both equally as much in a sense. Yeah.
But the thing is you're enlightened enough to notice it, because I'm sure that there's numbers in people's lives where if they're not enlightened enough, they won't recognize it or notice it.
Yeah.
I see my birthday a lot. 2/12. I see that a lot, and the time I was born a lot, which usually that means like you're on your path. But
really?
I mean, there's more meanings to it, but usually if you see your birthday a lot, that's what it means.
Yeah. I guess again, really, some people aren't into the whole spiritual thing or this type of idea. Again, I thought it would be cool for Adam, because I know that me and Adam, like, we're pretty much open to whatever,
Well, and it's not like I've never been on here before, and not like we haven't and not tried and true. and there's nothing. I saw somebody talk about tarot card BS. It's tarot cards. There's nothing wrong with tarot cards. They actually can give you a lot of guidance and can be accurate with it, depending on who's perceiving it and who's giving the message, who's doing the reading, because we also use our intuition with that as well. But it's also how we perceive and read the cards. Everything is about, what we're wanting to get out of it. So our intention for it. But they can be very accurate. I've seen them be very accurate depending on who reads them. I actually started putting them in with the true crime that I was doing, and because I have actually true crime cards, and they are matching the readings. So they are coming out accurate and in line with. Always listen to my readings first, but it's more of a validation tool.
Right. That's
so they are pretty accurate.
And it's each to their own when it comes to the stuff, right? Like, each to their own, how they feel about, like I said, readings or mediumship.
Yeah. It's each to their own. I just ask people to be open-minded and not cynical. You could be skeptical, but not cynical. So there's a difference in being skeptical and having an open mind to be shown something, and they're cynical to just having a complete closed off mind and being cynical about it. So there's a difference to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I just did a video the other day because it was, and I didn't know this actually up until I put out this video, because in the video, it was July 7th. And I remember it was funny because me and Adam were talking about July 7th, if there was a birthday on there. And I was like, no, but you know how you kind of feel like there's something. And then I realized that the boy so it would be a nephew that I didn't really know. It was related to my mom's partner's daughter. And so I only had met him a couple times because he died from meningitis, but he's the one that came through to me. So I actually call him my angel. So I actually did a video about it. I've talked about it in the last 10 years, more so because I just don't care anymore what people think. If they think I'm a loon, then go ahead and think I'm a loon. But I know my experience. I know I'm a grounded person. I know that I'm very level-headed and stuff like that. But I also know that I'm very open to things as well. But anyway, so I put out a video the other day, and it just so happened that Jaron is a Cancer as well. And he was just over 3 when he died of meningitis. But he's the one that came to me to literally ask me to tell his mom, to tell her that he's sad because she's sad, but he's okay. And that's something, like I said, that nobody could ever take away from me. And my twin sister, we were just talking about this again the other day, again, I didn't ask for the experience. The experience just came to me. And the reason why I know that happened is because if I look at my family, I'm the most open outlet to come through. I'm a Cancer. He was a Cancer. I did not know he was a Cancer actually up until the other day. And then I did a video on his birthday, which was, he would be 24 today. Or sorry, on the 7th. But anyways, so no one can ever, ever, ever take that experience away from me. I know I had it. I know as sure as I'm sitting right here, that like I said, a week later, it was validated at the funeral when those 2 words came out. And so, like I said, for me, you have to be open, meaning I just am open because I'm open. And so I know that am easily an outlet for people to come through should they want to, because again, I'm just open.
Well, and there's so much proof now, if you just look, there's so much proof, so many things that you can't refute, and that's not to say that everybody that does this work is legit or that is in it for the right reasons. I mean, just like anything, there's good and bad with anything,
Absolutely.
Doctors, lawyers, whatever it may be. But, you just got to be open-minded with things because we're constantly learning all the time.
Yeah.
And there's so much proof out there. I mean, all the NDEs say all the same things.
Yeah.
So I like to watch that to remind myself sometimes, and I connect to the other side all the time too. But still, it's nice to get that reminder, of what it's like. Because my NDE, I just saw darkness. I didn't see anything else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again,
I got ripped off
on there. But, like I said, so, again, just appreciation for you today, for doing this, to be honest with you. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
I've been so tired. I haven't even got anything done on my own channel.
Oh
I was like, oh, it's vacation week, right? A week that I took off,
yeah.
and I was gonna get so much accomplished, and I haven't gotten anything accomplished. It was like vacation hit, and I'm just like on the couch.
Clearly, that's what you needed.
I think so. I kind of go, and it gets to the point where I overgo. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
then when you asked me, I was like, well, luckily I don't have anything to do today other than just, it's hot, but
yeah.
that's it.
Aw.
So,
Well,
but
and it's not even a normal day that we do a live on, but like I said, his birthday fell on Thursday. I thought I'd shoot you a message and ask you. I kind of just
I
really
don't
wanted
have normal days I do lives. It's one of those things like if I feel the energy and I can, I get on, and that's about it.
Yeah. There's sometimes that you get on pretty late that I'm sitting there working on a video.
I'm a night owl.
Yeah, I am too. I totally am.
I don't function well during the day. Plus, it's so hot. I just don't. The heat like drains me. That's another thing. It's like so hot, and then by the time the evening comes, I'm just out from the heat.
Yeah. I mean, you guys get a lot higher temperatures, I'm sure, than we do over here.
Yeah, and I was fighting with like air conditioners. My air conditioner didn't work, so I got a couple of those units that you like vent outside, and it keeps it livable, but it's still like hot. It's better than it was, but it's still hot. So I'm still getting like drained. I think more drained than if it wasn't hot. You know what I mean? Just the heat's just taking it out of me, literally.
I know. Even throughout the day here today too, I'm just like working on a video, and as I'm finishing up Adam's video, and then I'm turning on my air conditioner. Then I'm like doing the video. Then I get hot, and I'm like, okay, pause. I need to turn on my air conditioner again because it gets very hot in here fast. It just does. But anyway.
I mean, it was 95 in here the other day, and then because my son moved out here, and like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't prepared for that. And his room has no air. So we got him a unit, and it's not working. So it's 95 in there. And I've been very frustrated all day with that thing, trying to get it to work. So yeah, that's kind of where I've been at for the people on my channel where I've been missing. Because they've been asking, where are you? And it's like, I'm just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just it's taken out, and I like the heat, but not if I have to.
I know, but I
like it better than the cold, but it's still just like
when it's too hot, though. Honestly, it makes people cranky,
and you can't do anything. You can always put more clothes on. You can always get warmer. Yeah. But like when you're hot, you just can't do anything.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, I already told my son, I said, be prepared. I walk around in a sports bra all day. I don't wear a shirt.
Don't be surprised. I walk in no bra all day.
Or I tie my shirt up. Like, I'm not wearing full clothes.
Do the whole.
It's just too hot. But yeah, I guess for what I do for like the new people, is that what we were talking about before I had to.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I've been doing this for, it'll be what?
1 sec.
Let's see, since 2011. Yeah, 2011. And I mean, my passion is true crime. And obviously now other things like missing planes and subs and things like that. I never got into that before, but I am now. Actually, those turned out, the sub turned out a little bit better than I thought it was going to, as far as being able to do a reading on it. I'd never done anything like that before.
Right.
And I didn't know the logistics of what I was being shown. It was like I'm being shown stuff, and then I got to kind of put it together, and I'm not a scientist, But the way spirit communicates is it's mostly how I relate to things. It's how I can understand what they're talking about. It's not always literal. And it is through like telepathic communication. So I always tell people it can be like past, present, future at any point in anybody's life. And usually, thank God, a lot of the times if I do get a prediction, then it usually does come true. But again, it's not written in stone, as we have our free will choices and things. Like I've had a couple people message me today, actually, one messaged me a couple of weeks ago and she was like, okay, it's July and I got laid off and I have no job. And you said there'd be a new one by July. And I said, we're not done with July yet. Like, you need to just chill for a minute. And we also have to remember, like, we're attracting all the time. So when we start to get in that negative vibe, that negative mindset, we kind of block things from entering our life. When we get in a more positive mindset and we do affirmations, or we're like trying to think more positive, which is hard to do sometimes because we're human, we are able to attract things to us. So I told her, I sent her a voice message and I said, you just need to relax, think positive, and just wait. Well, she contacted me today and said she had 2 new jobs that were coming her way and she didn't know which one to pick. And I said, okay, so you went from no jobs to now 2 jobs, and then we're not at the end of July. Like, just because I say July doesn't mean like the beginning of July. It means like give July. It could be next July too, but usually if I say a month and I feel like it's this year, it's usually this year. But just wait. We gotta wait. And then I had somebody else that messaged me, was like, I've been fighting. I told her she was gonna go this direction with her job and she was fighting it. And I said, quit fighting it. Well, she went that direction with her job because she didn't have a choice. So sometimes when sometimes when we fight it, it does no good. I always tell people, like, whatever's meant to happen is going to happen regardless. So and yes, we can change things with our free will, but there's certain things that are meant to happen that will happen. And that's no different than, like, when you're doing like world events and stuff and predictions, like certain things will happen. But it's not for me to stop it. Like I tell people, I think the misconception of being psychic is we know everything about everybody's life. And, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did. Like I watched the movie Solace last night and like he knew every part of their life. And I was like, I wish it worked like that, because it would make my life and my work so much easier. But I always tell people, like, because I've ran into people where I've given readings to and they're like, you should know that. I know. Like, I wish I knew that. And I do try to always have people not tell me any information. I try to get whatever I can, and sometimes I get what someone does for work and sometimes I don't. Like, it's just the way that it is. It's whatever spirit gives me. So unfortunately we don't know everything about everybody's life. I've seen some really dumb comments about like Sylvia Brown and her she should have been able to like predict her own passing. Like, it doesn't work like that. I know. It doesn't matter how psychic you are. You're not always going to get that kind of information. And like, that's something that I'll never predict. So kind of going off track here, but.
Or if you're psychic, you could know the lottery numbers. That one always makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, I wish like that would make my life so much easier. We're not supposed to have it for that type of personal gain anyways. Yeah. Because can you imagine how unfair that would be?
Yeah. Right.
Like, if we're meant to win the lottery, we'll win the lottery. But if we're not, we won't. It's just like anything. I always tell people that things can be like past, present, future. They can be symbolic, or they can have multiple meanings. Like, I notice like a lot of times like numbers and things like that can have more than one meaning. But when it comes to like intuitive guidance and things like that, it's always about possibilities. So just because a psychic tells you it does not mean that it's going to happen. I've had psychic tell me things throughout the years and it has not happened yet. So but then there's times where I tell people things and then it happens. So it just depends too. I might not be on that part of my path, and our timelines are always shifting. Right.
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, that's kind of how I try to explain how I work. It's basically spirit using things that I can relate to. Like, it might not be exactly the way it is, but it will be similar. For instance, like with the sub, they kept showing me the way that an airplane decompresses and the oxygen masks fall down, because I know what that means, right? But in a sub, I don't know what that means. But they were trying to tell me that it had to do with the pressure and the oxygen. So they showed me what I could reference, like a plane.
Yeah, I remember that reading.
Okay, so they'll use like, can you stop? They'll use like things that I know about to explain it, and it might not be like the exact situation, but it's how I relate to things. And I think people don't understand that, because people will say stuff like, well, you said this, but there's this, and it's like, that's how I relate to it. Like, if I'm seeing a creek, right, but there's no water in the creek, but there normally is water in the creek, I will see it as a creek. I'm
Right.
not going to see a creek with no water in it. I'll see it as a creek because there's usually water in it. And that's the way that they can, they can show. So it's just one of those things. I won't always get it right. It's how we perceive it. Like, it's how we perceive the information too, because they could be trying to say something else. Like I always say, like with BK and the whole Idaho 4, I always felt his energy close. So I took it as he lived close, which 8 minutes isn't far, but I still felt, he was like right there. And it was because he was like stalking them. So his energy was right there all the time, but I perceived it in a different way. So it's just like, we have to take the feelings, what's being shown to us, what's being said to us, and kind of put it all together like a puzzle. And that includes with private readings too. But most of the time it works that way in crime cases, but it's not like I'm going to go and find like who I see, or even if I get a name like Rick Allen, it's not like I'm going to go, how many Rick Allens there are in the world? Like, if I was working with police, okay, I could probably give them the information. They would know who I was talking about. But me, it's not like I'm going to go track them down. And then location, totally working on location. That's a total different, harder thing. People don't understand how hard it is to actually locate. Like, we can get within like miles and stuff like that, but it's really, really hard to get an exact location. Especially if that's not like a real specialty of yours. Like, you have to kind of find your own niche on how you do it. And so that's like when I got like 500 yards with the sub, and it was 100 yards off. Still, if they were standing 100 yards, they'd see it, So it's like one of those things, like, that's as close as I'm gonna get. You can't get any closer than that. But and I think I try to educate people on how it works, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions on how this works.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how it works, and we're all different. Like I'm not like Teresa Caputo, and I'm not like Matt Frazier, and I'm not like, they're all different. We all work differently. And like, I try to, like, I have to call them into me. Not saying I can't pick up people around you, but it gets hella confusing when I do that. I like to just bring in something and focus on it. So I think you understand how it works, Connor. I don't think I have to understand, like, explain.
Well, I know how it works,
but
some people,
especially in like my private readings, I always explain to people how it works, but then that also gets the energy flowing,
Right.
Because like I said, I think that people say, if I tell them something, like, that's going to happen. If I tell them, I'm seeing this person, they're going to like go and meet that person. And it's not like that. Like, if you're meant to meet somebody, you'll meet them. If something is meant for you, it's never, ever going to pass you by. It's just like, you just have to live your life and not focus on it. It's like, same thing with having babies. Like, the moment that you stop trying and you stop blocking that energy from having a baby, that's when the energy shifts. And plus, babies are all about, it's my time. I come when I want to come, out, because they have to come at the certain time, to live their blueprint and their astrology charts. Our astrology charts are usually pretty accurate to who we are. But if we're not born at that time, at that place, then our astrology charts aren't going to match what we want to do. So it all kinds of has to match up. But, I just tell people, and the same thing goes with cases. Like, if someone's meant to be found, they'll be found. If someone, unfortunately, is meant to go missing or have the soul contract for something to happen to them, that will happen. Like, I don't live my life in fear, afraid of, like, walking outside, because I've seen so many people that they go to sleep and they don't wake up. We go how we're meant to go. That's just the way that it is.
Yep.
So anyways, I think do you have any questions about any of that?
I don't.
Even though I went way off track.
I
always feel very guided in what I say, though, and it could be because, you've got new viewers. I try to like explain it, but
I know.
I appreciate that.
Okay, Shirley. Hold on. Let me just say, Shirley, I don't know what you're going on about Deb's 8th time asking, can you do me a reading? Show it.
We're doing reading for Connor today, and that is all.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't know who Debs is either.
Yeah, like, I'm like, does she think that you're Debs or something? Or I don't know. Shirley, what are you going on? Oh, to be honest with you, I thought she was referring to another Debs in the chat or something. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, it was okay.
So the
So
way that I do like the intuitive guidance, since he doesn't want to talk about anybody that's passed, but I can't promise that won't happen. It usually doesn't, but sometimes you never know. And there might be piggybacking going on because this is a live read. So I will just try to focus on him, but sometimes whatever I'm saying might be guidance for those people as well. Or if someone comes through, it may happen. It just because there's a lot of people, there may be some piggybacking going on. I do have to tell people that because we've learned that from doing lives in the past. Like what I'll be talking about someone, they're like, well, this fits this person, and it's just a piggyback. So the way that I connect and do the intuitive guidance is I work off of questions. So like most people work off a birth date, picture, or whatever, but I tend to work off of questions to be more direct in what you want, and I'll give you guidance from your guides. And then you just validate it as we go on, and anything that doesn't make sense, hang on to it. Because intuitive guidance can contain a lot of future stuff. So I always tell people just hold on to it. But before I say anything, there's a grandmother figure that's coming around. Is that you? Okay. And there's one of you two or somebody in the chat. There's a grandmother figure that's like right here. Do you have a grandmother that's passed, Connor, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have two grandmothers that have passed.
Okay, this one would have been more like little old lady-ish, like those cute little grandmas that like to bake and do all that kind of stuff. Like that's how she comes.
Yeah.
In. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, were you around her a lot when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Did you bake with her?
No, I didn't bake with her, but like I was always there while she was baking.
Okay, because she shows me like her in the kitchen, like making cookies. I don't know why specifically cookies, if she had like a special recipe for cookies that she made, but I see her like you there with her while she's doing it. See, I said I couldn't promise that this wouldn't happen. She's like standing here waiting patiently, like shut up, Rachelle, and just I'm here now. Just say something. So did you spend a lot of time with her at when you were younger?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so she keeps talking about a bike. So I don't know if this is a bike like you rode there, or you rode when you were there, or if they gave you a bike. There's some kind of reference to a bike.
My grandmother rode a bike a lot because they lived on a farm, and so she would ride a bike a lot.
Oh, your grandmother did. Is it the same grandma I'm talking about?
Well, my other grandma gave me a bike, so I don't know.
Okay, so this is an example of multiple meanings and piggyback. So obviously they're both on the other side. They're probably both going to take turns. And this is one reason why it's harder when you just pull whoever in, because both of them are going to talk. But they're both mentioning a bike because it makes sense for both of them. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Like one gave you a bike and then the other one rides a bike. So there's a bike. But with this bike, did you like learn to ride around your grandparents or something? Or did you ride your bike around there a lot? Because I keep seeing you just like randomly riding your bike around, but it looks like country roads or things like that. Where you used to just, I don't know if you went from grandma's house to their house on a bike or.
No, I would never ride it. I would never ride it from my house to their house. But and honestly, I don't remember riding a bike a lot around my grandparents. I remember my grandmother riding a bike, but I don't remember riding a bike a lot of times around my grandparents.
Okay. I mean, it could be just symbolic for the bike. I just see you on the darn bike riding around. So does fishing come in with you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the same. I would fish at my grandparents' farm.
Oh, okay, so they had like a pond with like fishing or something like that.
Yeah, they had a pond and a creek.
Okay, because they're showing me like you with a fishing pole and like just fishing. I don't know if that's where you learned how to fish, but it feels important. Yeah. Your grandma, she's like, okay, so I'm getting 67. I don't know if that's an age or a year or how that fits. It may be something specific. Does that make sense?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, it can be an age that something specific happened, or a year where someone was born, a year that something specific happened. I don't know, but that's something that wouldn't go away. But she's like super proud of you. So I feel like she helped raise you, and not only were you her grandson, but her son. And she says you were always this type of like very sweet little boy, but you've grown into this man that she really is she's proud of. And so I also don't know if she used to bake you cakes for your birthday, because she's handing you a cake with candles on it. So I don't know if you had birthday parties there where you used to blow out candles, but it's like she's handing you that now, but she's also remembering all the birthdays that you had, because I keep hearing a bunch of people singing happy birthday to you. So I feel like there was like a family party or something at the farm that you had. Did anyone do like crosswords or any kind of like puzzles like that?
Yeah, my other grandparents, I would do crosswords and word searches a lot.
Okay, because I keep seeing like all these words, like I see like a crosswords, but and that can be symbolic for both. So they're just validating the stuff they used to do with you. Because I feel like your grandparents had a huge impact, like both sides, but a lot. It's this one that's stepping forward had a huge impact on you as a child, and so they keep referencing my chest area, which would be either lungs or heart that would be affected at some point. But I also keep getting a reference to like cancer somewhere in the family. I don't know exactly where. And they're bringing it to me in a weird way, because they're just basically like saying cancer. Sometimes they make me feel things, sometimes they don't. But then there's the chest. Like I feel like I'm having a hard time breathing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure why, but
Well, so it would be something that they had either felt during their, like a symptom or an ailment, or they had a passing or an issue related to the chest or heart.
One of my grandmothers, she passed away from complications after having lung surgery to remove
So that would
lung.
Okay, so which one is that? Is that the one
That's
that we've been
the one
talking
that-
about?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there someone on the other side that like had cancer?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of my grandparents have, yeah.
Okay. And is that the other grandparents?
Yes.
Okay. It's like they're going back and forth, like so this is why it gets confusing when it's like all the grandparents are there because it's your birthday. So they all wanted to kind of like step in and be just like happy birthday. But to let you know that they're very proud, because I feel like a lot of the accomplishments, like I feel like you will continue to accomplish. And have you thought about doing a podcast besides this?
No.
No. Okay, well, they're saying that you should look into that.
Okay.
And it would be like a true crime podcast.
We talked about it once.
Something that you would, you'd go on and talk about true crime, like unsolved cases and things like that. Like that's how it's coming across. Okay. Did one of them have like a nickname for you? Because it's like I hear like I love you, but then there's a nickname that I can't quite make out. It's almost like I don't know what the nickname is, but I can't get it.
Yeah, I did.
But it's like Poochie or Pookie or I don't know, something like that.
Well, it was not quite as endearing, but one of my grandmothers called me little shit.
Oh, little shit. Okay. Well, Poopy. I mean, that's them being nice about it. Okay. Because I was like little poopy.
I was going to say, I caught on to that Rochelle.
That's funny. I just don't know if she's being proper for like, YouTube. She's quite funny. She's quite funny. Because it's almost like she had two sides. She had this very sweet like grandmother side, but then she had this like kind of like almost like someone that would call their grandchild little shit.
Well,
like
that was my other grandmother.
Okay, so then they're both coming in together and confusing the heck out of me on who they are, because they're both just kind of standing there together. And that might be why I'm getting the two sides. Like one is they're like a little different. Like one's more sweet, loving, grandmotherly like, and the other one's just like, I'll tell you how it is. This is how it is, and I don't think she had a problem with calling like her kids little shit. Her grandkids, if that's how they were being and that's how they were acting, and she's more of the like, I'm gonna tell you exactly how things are. Like she didn't have a problem telling you the way that she felt. She would give it to you straight. Shoot straight from the hip. Like that's how she was. And the other one was more like, come here, baby, like the sweet, like little loving. Does that make sense? Okay.
Absolutely.
This wasn't supposed to be mediumship, but it is what it is. Did one of your grandpas like go shooting or something like that? I keep hearing, how they have those, I don't know if this is exactly what it is, but you know how they have those things that shoot up in the air and then they try to shoot them down with like a rifle. Like right. I keep getting a reference to that.
Not that I know of. My one grandparent, he had a shotgun, but I didn't grow up hunting or anything. And
yeah, it doesn't come across as hunting. It comes across as more. Hold on. Sorry, they always bark at my son. They're not used to him being here yet.
Added me a little poopy.
Sorry. Disc shooting. Yeah. Also like clay pigeons or disc shooting.
I don't remember them ever doing that, but I mean, maybe before I was born. I don't know.
All right. If it's not one of them, it might be somebody else you have over there. I don't know. I just keep getting a reference to that. And just hang on to it. But basically, they just wanted to step forward. They wouldn't let me ignore them. It's one of those things like if I try to ignore it, it does no good. Right. And who is the drinker? Like someone like to have a drink every now and then.
I'm blurry.
You are blurry.
Actually none of my grandparents drank that I know.
Do you have anybody on the other side that likes to? There's just a reference to like, and it might have even been when they were younger, but it's not like a crazy thing. Like just I'm gonna have like a shot every now and then. Violet, the way that it comes across. Unless it's you.
Well, hey, yeah, I like to have a drink every once in a while.
Maybe it's have a drink for your birthday. I don't know. I just, the way that I see it is I just see like a glass of like whiskey. That's how they show it to me. So take it as you take it. Analysis of crime said that you like to drink. So don't be holding back now.
Right.
Yeah, kind of like a nightcap kind of thing. Yeah. So I mean, they're like singing happy birthday to you on the other side. Like I hear like 6 voices singing it. So it's just they just wanted to step in and wish you a happy birthday. So if you want to, we can go into the
yeah, I'm game for whatever.
Okay. So if you have any questions about stuff going on in your life, we'll just go from there.
Oh, I have to ask questions.
Yep. Like I said, I work off of questions. A lot of people use birthdays and stuff, but I use the questions. That's just what I use. It's what I use for the energy of it.
I don't know. Do you have any examples? Like,
It doesn't have to be anything specific. Just put whatever you're wanting to know about into a question.
I mean, I have no idea. I'm completely failing at this now.
His love life, please. He
Um,
wants to know if he's going to have one.
Well, it's kind of, it comes across as, like I always tell people with relationships, it's all about timing. It's all about timing. It's all about energy. And it doesn't feel like that's his focus right now, although that would be great. It feels like his focus is, for some reason, I feel like if he really were to jump into the true crime side of this stuff, either a podcast, YouTube, whatever it may be, it comes across that he could do really well at it. Like have tons of subscribers and stuff, but he would have to just get his stuff together and, you know, talk about cases, just like the facts of the case. Have you ever seen like the ones that have like a lot of YouTube subscribers? Like they literally just talk about the whole case from beginning to end, like something like that, or bringing new insights into like cold cases or something. It comes across as that's like that in his career is the focus right now. That's not to say that someone won't come along, you know, later on. I actually think there could be someone enter the next year is highlighted to me. But it feels like they're kind of, you know, a little far off. There's a reference to like a chance encounter, but I feel some reason the true crime community even comes into play there. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's like someone that he meets during the true crime, like doing the true crime, but it feels like part of his path is to continue, but to get bigger on this. I don't know if maybe he hasn't devoted a lot of time to it, or he's switching back and forth between what he normally does and this. Like, I feel like maybe your other career is also, does the other career make sense too as being a focus right now as well? I feel like you're kind of flip-flopping between both. Which is good, because I feel like your life is like revolving around your career, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. And that's what I feel like you're supposed to be doing at this point in time anyways. Because if not, I'd be getting a whole lot on your love, but it's a timing thing. It's always a timing thing. But like next year, like mid-year kind of highlights. But it would, he says, I'm reading him, not you. But I do feel like, and if it makes sense for you, then it's just it'll make sense for you. Like I said, sometimes whatever I say can validate for stuff people in the chat. But I feel like whatever your career is now, that's a good focus for you. But it's like a flip-flop, because are you having like questions like if you want to continue on that career path, or?
I am actually, yeah.
Okay, because it comes across as like you're not really sure if you want to do that anymore. I do kind of feel like you want to go this direction more. Like that's been a thought. Because you can make it doing this. You can. I see people do it all the time. You know, they've got like just learn how to do makeup and just kidding. No, have you seen the girl that does makeup and stuff? Like she has like millions of subscribers, you know. So, you know, if you find something a little more like unique to kind of put with it, because I feel like eventually you are going to do something similar full time like this.
Wow.
The way that they come across is they show me like you doing podcasts and things like this, but also, I don't even know like if your podcast gets like on iHeart. You know, you can set your podcast to do that, but it's like I keep seeing you sitting behind a desk like with earphones on and stuff, like doing certain things, and you'll have to sort of find your own way and make it unique in that way. But I feel like there might even be, you'll have to do a lot of research. That's the thing too with this. It will take a lot of your time.
Okay.
So you have to come to a point where you have to decide that it's okay to do it. I mean, you can't fight it because you're right now, you're where you're meant to be, and you have come into this part, the whole true crime stuff, for a reason. Like I tell people, we're not supposed to be. So this is like baby steps for you.
Wow.
But you
Okay.
have to push it into something bigger eventually, which will happen in the timing it's supposed to, the time frame it's supposed to.
Rachelle, just quickly, I just want to say this without saying too much. Me and Adam just had this whole conversation.
Oh yeah.
We just literally had this conversation because
I'm not psychic or anything.
No, not at all. But you're literally saying what the conversation Adam and I just had. We're talking about, because I know Adam has so much quality and star power in the true crime as a personality and stuff like that. So I've been pushing him to do more because and grow his channel as well. Because we had this talk before where he's like, was doing hairdressing full time, and then he cut that back somewhat to help out with a family member and stuff like that. But anyway, so this was what you just said was the exact conversation that we were just talking about. I think Adam knows it, but I want him to realize that he has so much potential. And
he does, and that's what. But he has to know he has that potential. That's the thing. Is I think he's very like up in the air about it because I don't think he realizes his full potential with it. Like the hairdressing and your other career is great, but it just doesn't feel like that's like you can even do that part time, if you want to, but like as your own independent thing.
Okay.
But I feel like if you can go into this direction, like you could do really well. It's just you have to put more time into it, which you have to also decide if that's what you want to do. Like if this is something you're really passionate about, because I always tell people like our passions are our paths. So, you're passionate about true crime or you wouldn't be doing this with Sunny. But this is
Right.
I'm not saying leave her. Okay. You guys can still do your thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I feel like you'll have your own thing beside her. And then with your growth, her growth will come. So it's like one of those things like you do have the potential and you have the magnetism to make this a full-time thing. Like I keep getting like 300K subscribers. You might even go above that. But you have to put in the work, the time is going to be a lot. So you have to decide if that's what you want to do. It's almost like you have to kind of become like a private detective in these cases and bring things that no one's talking about.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I'm like, does Sunny put you up to this?
No,
he needs an OnlyFans.
You
Yeah,
what's funny? Can I say this? You know what's funny?
OnlyFans do things like this too. It's not just eating with your clothes off. I mean, there's other things too.
Rachelle, and Adam, tell me if I'm right here, because as Rachelle was saying this, I'm thinking in my head, I'm going, does Adam think I literally told her this stuff? Because I legitly said nothing. Rachelle has no
She said
clue
nothing. She said, I can show you our chat. All she said was, can you come do a reading for Adam?
That's it. Yeah. For me, you're like hitting the nail on the head, because we legitly just had this conversation, and I love Adam to pieces. And I know that it's kind of one of those things when you, like myself, right? Like this is my full-time job, and Adam is working his hair salon, and then he's doing this, but he's also helping his sister out and stuff like that. And we were just having this topic about growing, and we did bring up a podcast once, because I said I would like to do a podcast as well. Consider doing that to grow, because again, I know me and Adam have a nice dynamic and a nice team, and regardless of whatever happens in the future, just like Deb, I want Adam and whoever else are really good people to grow as well. You know what I mean? Regardless, because at the end of the day, you never know. but I want Adam to succeed regardless, with me or without me. I mean, I love him with me.
He can be the hairdressing true crime guy. Like, just like do hairdressing while he's like talking about true crime. Like
mannequin's hairs.
That's so funny because we were just talking about learn how to do makeup. Like it's the same thing, but with hair, right? So, you know, if you can be unique with it, and doesn't mean you have to have every detail, but sometimes people can find things that others can't in cases and talk about them, and that's what gets them kind of big. And once you're big, like you just continue with it, but you do have the potential for it.
No, he does. He does.
Of course, you'd have to have a model come in and like talk about true crime while you like cut their hair. Can you do both? I don't know. Can you multitask? I mean, it's just an idea. You know?
Hair is falling out, but okay.
When she's done, she looks all crazy because you're like getting with it as you're talking about true crime. I don't know.
Anyways, so yeah, I never said nothing to Rachelle at all.
No, she didn't. She didn't. This is all spirit guided, and I'm literally hearing like spread your wings and fly. Like it's time to, and it is hard because like you're again at that time in your life where you're helping out family, you're kind of stuck like in this whole thing. But once you kind of break out of that, like you could start doing it a little bit now. You know, just like kind of focusing on rebranding, how you want to do your channel, you know, like making a list and trying to get started on it now. Do you have a TikTok? If you don't have a TikTok, okay. And you can do little clips about talking about true crime. But I noticed like the more like videos you put out on TikTok, the more you get seen. So if you start like doubling up your videos, and you can do just like cases that are popular, just that's not saying that the cases that aren't popular don't do them. It's just to get seen, and then you can also dive into the cases that need more attention.
Right.
So it's just to like get you going and get you a bigger audience, and then you can kind of focus on, because we do need to bring insight into those cases that don't get a lot. So I don't know. That's so funny about the hairdressing idea. It was just funny because I had mentioned the whole makeup thing, and
right.
I'm not saying do that, but I mean it wouldn't be a bad idea. It's different. I don't see any other true crime hairdressers.
Right. No, I've thought about it, but I don't think that I'd want to combine the two.
Well, if it was a mannequin, that way it doesn't talk to you, distract you, and you just cut away. And then you show people how to do haircuts as you're, you know, what you do as you're talking. You know, like when people do that, they do like cook and talk about true crime.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you can do and talk about, like, make it unique so that people will watch. You know, that's kind of the thing. But I feel like he says, wouldn't mind if you did the true crime like the Naked Chef. Like, I don't know, you know, whatever, the naked hairdresser. I mean, I don't know, whatever, whatever floats your boat.
Smart ass.
But so. You know, you want to get into the popular ones, and then you also want to like change it up with the not popular, because there's some things that people don't even know about. There's some cases people don't even know about that need to be out there, which you know.
Right.
They always bark at my son now. It drives me crazy.
Oh, right.
Because they're not used to him being here, and I think that's his dog. So his dog wants attention. So every time he sees him, she barks at him. But so, you know, you have the potential to do anything you really want to do. It's just doing it.
Oops, sorry. He's from Charlotte, by the way, Holly. But I believe in you, Adam.
I was trying to pick up more on your sister situation. Because that's what really pressing on you right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never said anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to pick up. Where is she going? She keeps disappearing. she have? I keep getting like a reference to like my whole body like being in pain. Does that make sense? It can just be stuff that she feels.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could. It could make sense. Yeah.
Okay. But it's just one of these things, like, you'll do the best that you can with her. You are doing the best that you can with her, you know. And that's something that, you know, you guys kind of chose to go through, and I think that your loved ones on the other side are very thankful that you're doing that for her, that you're there for her. Because I know it feels like it's a lot of weight on your shoulders. Like, I feel like the weight is just there on my shoulders. She have can she get around okay, or is she having issues getting around?
No, she can get around okay.
Okay. I don't know why I'm picking that up, if it's something that is going to be in the future or not, but I don't know. Because they keep referencing like my body being in pain and my spine for some reason, but I don't know what that is. But I also feel like my moods are kind of all over the place. Like more mental health, like going along with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is more of a mental health thing, but it's also causing physical stuff, or is it all in together?
I mean, I'm mainly stepping in to help with my niece, who's her daughter, who you know, just because she needs help with her right now, and she's not quite 2, so.
So it is like there is a mental like health thing going on.
And yeah, there's.
You don't have to go into it. Just
I mean, it's more of just the necessity that that, you know, someone needs to be there to take care of her daughter occasionally.
Okay, I got you. I won't go any more into that, but there's just a thankfulness of doing that, and I think you're going to continue with helping with her daughter. So, and there might even be a time where like you might, I don't know what this is, if this is like a custody thing, or it might just be temporary or something like that, but where you have to step in even more with her is the way that it comes in. But you know, everything's, you know, you're going to be okay, but they're right. You do have to take care of yourself, because I feel like, again, this weight on my shoulders with doing this, like, you feel like there's a lot of pressure with doing it. Not that you don't want to do it, you know, but there's just pressure with doing it. I don't know. Spirit's just giving you the good old push to kind of like follow your passions. So, not saying that hairdressing isn't your passion. I mean, but sometimes things get mundane. You know, sometimes when we do them for a long time, they get like.
Right, and I've done it for 20 years. Yeah,
it kind of gets to the point where it's just like, man, I need a change. Like, that's kind of where it comes across. Like, I need a change. I want to change, kind of thing. And I feel like you will go into this other direction. Who knows? Maybe you'll incorporate the hairstyling, but it definitely, I feel like there's potential for like a bigger channel and a bigger thing. It's just you have to do it.
Okay.
You have to make the decision. But also, it's one of those things where it's like, I always tell people, if you kind of just give it up and be just like, okay, universe, I'll go wherever you want me to go. And you just kind of release the control of it. And that can be with anything. It seems to kind of help things flow and puts us in a better position, because then the universe knows that we're ready for whatever it may be. And that's in terms of your family situation too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, because I feel like sometimes we kind of like force things a little too much, or we fight against things, you know. And I feel like in a way, like you've you've kind of fought this part. Does that make sense? Like you're like so back and forth with it sometimes. And I don't know if that's just because it feels like it's a big duty or what it may be, but I get like this back and forth thing with it. But once you decide on what you want to do, I feel like everything else will fall into place. Next year feels really big for you for some reason.
Okay.
Like I feel like there's going to be a huge shift towards the end of this year, but then into next year, especially with your career and possible relationship, next year seems to come in better for you as far as that's concerned.
Cool.
So I hope this was a nice birthday present for you today.
Yeah.
Did you have any other concerns that you wanted to ask about?
No, I think I think I have enough to ponder on now.
Okay. Well, it's funny because they're showing me a bee. So if you Google up the meaning of a bee symbolism, it's really about hard work is what it's about. Because bees are always working to produce. I don't know. They're giving me a bee. So sometimes I get the symbolism for that. Yeah. I agree with Grandma Wet Watches.
No one.
Can you imagine?
That would get 3 subscribers, maybe.
Yeah.
3 subscribers.
That would definitely get some subscribers. Yes.
But thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm so quiet. I'm just like kind of thinking about everything you said.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. Like I knew tonight, for instance, Adam didn't know what was happening, but I did. But I know that Adam too can be a little bit shy and more reserved.
He is.
Especially when he doesn't, I want to call it a little bit of an awkward moment because it's kind of like.
Well, there's some things that like I was getting with his situation that I don't want to say. So I kind of can see the look on his face like, well, you don't want to go there and talk about that. So I'll just shut up about it and go the other way. Because I don't want to put like anybody's personal stuff out there, No,
I'm curious about that stuff.
It
was more like what I was picking up with your sister.
Okay.
And I just feel like there's a barrier like I don't want to cross with it,
Okay.
I put out on YouTube. Like you can always message me.
Unless you want her to, then she can.
Yeah.
So
I can maybe I'll ask
I could tell by the look on his face, he's like, okay, you're starting to get to like a line, don't cross it.
No, but I might message you and ask you privately.
Yeah,
because I can say that I know,
and that might be why I wasn't getting a whole lot on it. Like I was like struggling with it because I was trying to get it. Sometimes if I try to get stuff, I struggle with it. But then sometimes if spirit doesn't want it out there, they won't say it.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, this is something like you need to talk to privately, and that's why I try to be respectful of people's boundaries, especially because we're live. Like in a reading, I just go ahead and say it, but because everybody's watching, I'm not trying to put his stuff out there.
Yeah. And I respect you for that because like I said, I personally know, with Adam. And so I respect that you say didn't press that more for the fact of, because although I might be comfortable with it myself, I know that putting your personal life out here to everyone. But I'll just say that regardless, you did hit the nail. Like, I don't know anything about his grandparents and the whole medium thing, because I'll meaning I know that, of course, but meaning I don't know about that part of his life and his grandmas and stuff like that. But as for the talking about it, again, for me, you hit the nail on the head in both aspects there, because I know the situation with his sister. And like I said, so I'm glad you kind of stopped where you did, in a sense, because again, I don't think that Adam wants probably all that stuff out there, because is private. But yet you did hit the nail on the head, knowing that I know that you could have said more. And as for the thing, like I said, we had literally just talked about this, about the whole situation of, the whole YouTube thing and growing and stuff like that. And for me, it's like I said, I know that Adam has that potential, and he is a great guy. I mean, I love Adam to pieces, and Deb as well. She used to be on the channel, obviously. And there's so many people that are good friends here that I only want the best for them regardless, and Adam has so much potential. You know, he just does.
Yeah.
He has that.
He has that energy about him if he really puts it out there, but he's got to get over his shyness.
You know, I think sometimes like
It's
with me,
cute. It's cute, but when it comes to true crime, like he can't be like, you know, he's gonna have to put it out there. So
and the thing is too, it's like I said, I know me and Adam because we're both cancers.
yeah.
I know how badly we can be like ADHD and lack focus, and I have to really put myself on a leash, like seriously, to have a little bit of structure of what I do. I am so bad. Like, I mean, I create videos, sure, but I literally have no structure half time to what I'm doing. I just do things when I feel like doing them here and there, but
Yeah.
I keep trying to add more structure because again, for me, it is my job, you know, so I have to try to have some more structure than when I was working and then coming home creating videos whenever I kind of felt like it in a sense and did whatever, to be honest. And I think I was doing more lives than when I was actually working. But anyways, I know me and Adam have that thing where, again, it's so easy for us to get distracted and, you
Absolutely.
know, and we have to also feel things from our heart as well, you know,
Yeah.
in what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, what I always tell people is just follow your passion. You can't go wrong with your passion because your passion is your purpose, or you wouldn't be passionate about it. He never would have started this with you if he wasn't supposed to be on this path. That doesn't mean it won't veer off in another direction at some point, but he's like dipping his toes in, so to speak.
Yeah.
You
Oh no,
both are.
absolutely. Yeah.
So it can grow. Definitely.
yeah.
And the podcast comes in very, very strong. Like there needs to be a podcast, either with both of you, one of you, whatever, you go guest hosting, whatever. There needs to be a certain podcast where you just strictly talk about true crime and the facts and getting that out there. That's like how it comes across.
Yeah. I like it.
That would be my style too.
Yeah.
You know, we love to joke around and talk about true crime.
I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to talk about, but I'm just saying, like, you can have like other days or on your YouTube or whatever, we talk about other stuff. But I'm just saying for like a podcast, and that's not saying don't have little jokes in between or make it like relatable to people. But a lot of people like just hearing about just the straight facts and things maybe they don't know about the case and new cases that they've never heard of.
Right.
You know. And just making it into a podcast, like I really feel like the podcast would be a good way to go. I know that when I was doing my podcast with Shane, like back when I first started the podcast, we were getting really, really big, and then he was like, "Oh, I don't have time for it anymore." We had like 2.9K listens like in like a day, so we were starting to really build up. You know, so it's just when you get like if you get and say like you have a co-host that you just like bounce off really, like the chemistry is really well, you know, you have that chemistry, people are gonna naturally gravitate to that chemistry,
right?
And if it's not boring, you know. Not saying you guys are boring, I'm just saying like if it's not, like you can make true crime not boring a little bit, you know,
right,
with the podcast. But a lot of people like to I know that's just going off of what Spirit's giving me and what I tend to notice. Like what if you look at, and another way to do it would be like if you look at the other true crimers with like a lot of subs and see what they do and get some ideas. Not saying copy them, but just get some ideas.
Right. Well, it's funny because I actually just started working on a video for just an old case that I was going to go really kind of just go through the facts of the case, and so it's funny that you said that. So I'm like a quarter of the way into it. Yeah. Tom actually said he'll give us tips. Thank you, Tom.
And is it a like a popular case or a not so popular case? Like
it's just a case that I've been interested in for a long time. It's an old case.
That's good. And so I mean, wherever you're feeling drawn or pulled to, that's what you want to do, anyways.
Right, and I like a mix of I mean, you know, like cases like Idaho, Delphi, things like that. You know, it's hard not to be drawn into them. You know.
Well, and that's what'll get you seen, because if you do those cases, then you'll get up there, and then more people will see the little cases or the not so known cases. You know. But you know, it's just like like I always tell people, when you're doing readings, crime or whatever, like you have to be respectful. You have to be respectful of your sitter. You have to be respectful of spirit, and you have to be respectful of the victims. So like I don't get gruesome in my readings or anything like that. Like people can understand what I'm saying without me getting that way. And spirit will never be like that.
Right.
You know. And if there's certain things I see like in a private reading, I always apologize first. And I said, I'm just kind of seeing this because they're showing it to me. But it's like, you know, sometimes I even ask permission, like, is it okay if I go there? Because sometimes reading can dredge up a lot of stuff, you know, and sometimes we need to dredge up that stuff to heal from it. You know, that's why I think readings are so healing, is because we dredge up stuff that maybe we haven't dealt with, and we get kind of spirit's take on it, and then we know that they're okay on the other side, kind of thing. So
I just dropped your link again, Rachelle. By
okay,
the way.
thank you.
So of course, again, you know, we're streaming on the 3 different channels: Adam's channel, Aspen Connor, Rachelle's the Psychic Sleuth, and of course, It's a Criming Shame Here. And I'm sure you probably want to get going back to your pets over there, but I just want to say, just so appreciate the fact that you did this very much for Aspen and Adam for his birthday today. You know, I just kind of wanted him to have a read. I don't even know when he ever had one, if ever.
I hope it was helpful. Like sometimes it seemed like when I got into the grandparents, he just like didn't really know what to say.
Well, you know, for a second there, I was like, wait, is she talking about my grandma? Because I would ride my bike up and down to my grandma's all the time. And I'm like, is she talking about my grandma? That's why I kind of went off, because I didn't want to be a focus of anything. I just wanted to. That's
well, like I say, sometimes it's piggybacking. So sometimes whatever spirit will bring through for some person, it's almost like their spirit's piggybacking, like, oh yeah, mention this because it'll make sense for my person in the chat. Like it's a piggyback thing. And that happens a lot on the lives where, you know, they kind of just piggyback or step in, and then so it's kind of so that they get a message too.
Yeah. I know that you mentioned that before.
Yeah. And we, like, I had always forgot to mention that when I would do live readings, and you'd have all these people in the chat be like, oh, that fits me. Oh, that fits me. Oh, that fits me. And it's like, for one, you're probably getting guidance on it too, if you need to hear it. And for two, you know, your loved one's probably over there like, hey, mention this because it'll make sense for that person. You know, it's just a piggyback.
Mimi, Helen, Rachelle, can you just tell people exactly where to do that, where you do your bookings for
so as a, like, I do true crime and stuff on my YouTube. We do true crime and lives and stuff like that, but I haven't had the time or energy to be doing readings. I did do them like before everything went haywire. I was doing like mediumship readings and stuff, and you can find them in my playlist, but I just have a booking link in my description box on my videos. And I'm booked till January. So, you know, if anybody wants to book, it's in January, but I don't know.
But you came
I mean, I see people that are booked 2 years out, so it's not that crazy. But you know, you have some people that want it right away, and I'm only one person. Unfortunately, that's just the way that it is. I only have so much energy. Yeah, that's.
Charmaine, thank you.
Bye, Charmaine. Thank you, Charmaine. Yeah, and I was gonna say, so I said, I appreciate it that you made time for Aspen. I know that, like I said, I know that you're a busy woman, and it's always great. And always know that if you ever need a favor back, you know that we're here for you as well. I appreciate the kindness of people with genuine hearts, and that's what I see in you, and that's what I love about you.
Oh,
is that I just see somebody that, you know, you do your thing, you try, you know, just like me and Adam, you know, you just try to keep it real, right? You're not here to pretense. You're just trying to keep it real, you know, and that shows in how you speak and what you're saying. And I appreciate that type of person. I appreciate it when people are just themselves and they're just doing their thing, and other people can accept it and like it or not. It doesn't matter, you know. But
Well, and I'm like Aspen's grandma. I shoot straight from the hip, so it'll always be, you know, straight up with
Mhm.
how I come across and what I say. Some people like it, some people don't. I really don't care. I'm not going to get my own personality just for you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you either take it or leave it.
That's how my grandma was too, you know.
I just tell people straight up as it is, and people, you know, if people didn't come on and like say certain things, I wouldn't come off a certain way. I try to wrangle it in a little bit, but you know, I'm not Aquarius type person. I will just, you know, tell you how it is. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not kind of the same way in my readings. Like I always get what spirit gives. That's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to make sense of it, but if I can't perceive it right, then I just don't try to perceive it.
You know, and the thing is that like I said, for the people that don't understand it, it's not like you're going to sit there and bang 100% accuracy. It just doesn't work like that. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, sometimes it happens later and you don't know it at this moment, and then maybe the memory comes back. You know, I remember getting read once, Rochelle, and a lot of things that were said were more in the future. And when I went back in my head as I thought about those things, from because there's a couple readings that really stood out to me in my life, and then some of those things happened, but they didn't happen, you know, like they happened in the future. But it was only in hindsight that I could go back and go, dang, she hit the nail on the head, that one, you know, and stuff like that.
Well, you know, what I always tell people is I can be wrong, but spirit never is. It could be me trying to figure out what they're saying and not understanding what they're saying. But spirit's not ever wrong. It's just that we interpret it wrong, I think.
Right.
And this is no different than like the sub. Like everybody told me, you know, there's no way they're going to find human remains. They're not going to find the sub. And they showed me like skeletons in the sub being pulled up by a hook. And that's exactly what happened. But you don't know how many people came to me and was like, nope,
Right.
not going to happen. Even after it imploded, like, no way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care. I'm trusting spirit. It was either symbolic or it's literal. It's not everything's literal. Some things are just symbolic, you know, and in some things that I get for a case, like if a gun is mentioned, it doesn't necessarily mean the one's used. It means one was found as evidence. One was in a car, like with Lacey Peterson, you know, but that doesn't mean I perceive it that way at the time. I don't know why the hell I'm getting it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I seen your one on the sub, and then I remember actually when the answers kind of came up, in my head I went back to Rochelle said it was like I remember about the implosion, and the thing was that
I didn't know what it was called. I just knew it was a pressure change, and you know, I said I don't feel that they're alive because of the pressure change.
Yeah,
you know, the I kept getting like this, but the way that they showed me was an airplane.
Yeah, you know, like I said, because sometimes we don't, like I said, I call them thingamajigs when I don't know what the word is.
Yeah. I've never done a reading underwater before. I don't know, and I'm not a scientist.
Don't know the terminology, so I think you were. I can't remember if you were live or if I caught some of that live of that video, if it was the actual video did you do that one on a live?
No, I don't do live readings anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because I pick up, I mind read the chat.
Okay, but that okay, because then
it screws me up. We noticed that with like Ethan's reading, like I was on to a different thing, and all of a sudden it shifted, and we noticed they mentioned it in the chat at the same time it shifted. So I no longer do that because I pick it up.
Yeah,
not that I try to. I'm not reading the chat at all. I just
like I said, that's why I turned off my cam, because I didn't want perhaps my grandma or somebody coming through and interfering. I know that things come how they come regardless, and it very well could, you know, like I could have led that way, but I was trying to kind of take away from the direction of me being here and to turning off the cam so that it more was the focus to Adam, since it's Adam's birthday, you know, not mine. So I was like, no, grandma, you just stay where you are now, you know.
Well, and I always, like I said, I usually use a picture, but sometimes they do that. Sometimes they'll just like be there. And if I don't say it, they will just be there until I say it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you did say that about a picture.
It's like, I don't like to do that because it gets a little, like, I feel like the reading is better if I focus and pull in the energy, because then I know I'm talking to them. But sometimes, like, when they do this, like, as you see, you'll get one grandma, then the other grandma, then the other grandma,
Right.
then the other grandma. Like they'll take turns, and you have to just kind of decide where it fits. And even sometimes when I do connect with a picture, like there's been times where I've been getting information on someone, and they're like, that doesn't fit who we're trying to communicate with. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Does it fit anybody else on the other side? And then all of a sudden it clicks. Oh yeah, that fits this person I don't really know that well. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't help who comes in. If he's coming in, it's for a reason. And the person that you're wanting to communicate with, let him come in. So, and I ended up going, I will go over my readings because I want to connect people with who they want to talk to. So there was one day I did like freaking an hour and a half because she could not figure out who this person was or didn't realize it, even though I kept telling her, is it anybody else on the other side? Is anybody else on it? She's like, well, it's later on, like 45 minutes into it, it's my grandpa that I don't know that well.
Yeah.
And it's like, but once she said that, then the energy shifted and I was able to get who she wanted to get. You know, so it's like until that person is validated, they just keep going, and I can't get past them until they're validated. So I always tell people, you know, if it's not fitting who I'm trying to connect with, make sure it doesn't fit anybody else on the other side, because they will literally come in and block that person until they say what they want to say. And that might be for whatever reason, you know, but I've had that happen a couple times where the reading goes hella long because I'm like, okay, can you please just tell me who this is so we can get rid of him and get on to the person you want to get to?
Yeah.
So I mean, it does, and a lot of mediums don't do that. They just give you whoever they give you.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say, and I want to say something to Charles. Charles, you're absolutely wrong about the whole process of this. I hope I never get read for real. So much darkness. Absolutely not.
Watch some NDEs.
Hey, yeah, this is actually a very beautiful thing, honestly. If you have the skill set in a sense, and you have the ability, whether it's through mediumship or whatever, to be able to know that you can talk to your loved ones or have someone come through and someone can validate it for you. And that's the reason why people go to mediums and stuff like that, or tarot readers and different things, because honestly, they just want to simply know how their loved one is doing, because they have never had an experience themselves. So they're trying to hook up with somebody that they love that's passed away, because, you know, whether it's through their sadness or whatever. To me, it's the most beautiful thing. Like I said, I deem Jaron, which is the boy I was talking about, he gave me a gift. And I'm very grateful for that gift of knowledge, of knowing that we do carry on past this lifetime, that we can communicate with the people around us. You know, like he gave me that gift, and I am so appreciative of that. Took me a long time to share that story because of, you don't want to be called a crackerjack, because, you know, it's more acceptable now. But then I just stopped not caring. If it meant that my story, if I told someone because they were in sadness, all I ever wanted to let anyone know by the story was that all you have to do is talk to your loved ones. It's not like you have to look way up 1,000 feet in the air. They're around you, but you have to be open, and, you know, and have that mindset to let it in. I tell my twin sister this all the time. You know, you have to be open, because we just had this topic the other day, and my twin said, I know mom's not around me. She doesn't help me at all, because she would not let me suffer and go through all the things I am. You know, and I was like, 10, that's not how it works. She's not there to run your life, but you have to have that mindset to know that, you know what I mean? Like, they're not there to sit there and go, here, let me just walk you through life, you know, in a sense, right? Like, it doesn't work like that. But I told her, when you have that attitude, though, like, and you have to be able to like I said, let it in, you know, but she's closed off in a sense, but you can't, like I said, nothing's.
I mean, people are going to have their own experiences, but like you're saying, like we have the free will, like they can't interfere with what our path is and what we're meant to go through. And everything that we go through is for a reason, whether it be dark, good, bad, doesn't matter. We learn from it. We grow from it. And a lot of times, like I always tell people, I always push the NDEs, because it shows people that even the people that like don't believe, they come back a believer, you know, because they are shown things and then they experience things. And sometimes you just have to have that experience. Yes. But a lot of people say, oh, what you do is of the devil. Oh, what you do is bad. How can helping people, I can't tell you how many lives I've changed. How can that be bad? I brought people back from unaliving themselves. I brought people back from deep depression. I've brought people back from being non-believers. Now they're open and know their loved ones around them. Like, there's nothing bad about that. And God would have not given me these gifts if he didn't like know that I was going to use them for the right reasons. He could take them away at any time he wants to. I asked for these gifts from God, and they were given to me. So if he didn't think I was going to be responsible with it, I wouldn't have them. But where do people think that the gifts come from? God had prophets, and when we go to the other side, I mean, we are basically just the bridge. We're the bridge from here to there,
Correct. Yeah.
And so, and everybody's entitled to their own gifts, to their own beliefs. But like I said, as long as you're like, you can be skeptical is fine, but be open-minded to it, because being cynical is not a real good way to live.
Right. And that's the point, right? I would rather believe in something than believe in nothing. Like, meaning at the end of the day, if you're going to die and you think that there's no other side, great. You're going to be dead. You're not going to give a shit anyway.
Then why does it matter?
Why? Yeah, exactly. Why does it matter? So,
and there's so much proof out there that that's not true.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
There was a guy that talked about how many people he had talked to that had NDEs that were all like the same or had similar things. Like, all the people can't be experiencing like similar things if it's not real,
Yeah.
And there's stuff that I know, like, how would I know that?
Yeah.
I don't know that about people's lives. Like,
yeah.
About cases or whatever. Like, I'll say stuff and then it'll come out on the news like 3 days later. Like,
yeah.
How else do you there comes a point where you just have to be like, okay, how much proof do you need?
Yeah. At the end of the day, really, it just becomes about the people that do believe or that do understand. Those are the ones that you really want coming to you, because at the end of the day, like I said, those negative people that don't believe in it, so what? Enjoy. See you up in heaven at some point, and have a good day. Have a good trip when you go, because those ones, like I said, no matter what, their chances are, unless they haven't experienced themselves, they're just not going to buy into it. But so those ones, in a sense, really don't matter, because, like I said, they're cynical. They're going to be closed off. They're going to sit there and crack those jokes that are, well, if you're a psychic, then you should know this. You should know exactly, before I'm even asking you. Blah 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 blah. Have a good day.
We have to be surprised in life. We can't know everything.
Heck no.
No. We can't learn from knowing everything. It's not going to work like that. Plus, we're just human like anybody else. We just are able to tap into that different vibration and tune in the radio. That's it.
Pretty much, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We just get to that vibration when we're able to do it. Like, everybody's capable of some kind of gifts. It's just like, we're still human. We still have human lives. I always say we're not some mystical being.
I know.
They're like, knows everything.
Like crystal ball.
Yeah, I literally have that on a shirt. Like, I'm not a mystical being. I'm just a psychic. Like, it doesn't mean that I know everything about your life, your situation. But like, I had this girl come to me and she was like, well, you should know what I do for work, or you should know this, or you should know that. And it's like, for one, you need to just stop and open your mind and just relax, because right now I'm telling you, you're blocking the energy from anything coming through. Yeah. And it's like once, and because right away, she was like, oh, I want a refund. This is the only one and only time I've had this happen in 11 years. And we were like 5 minutes in. Like, the energy hasn't even started really flowing yet. And I told her, you just need to chill. Like, just relax. And I'll tell people that. Just relax. Let the information come in, because you are blocking the information right now from coming in. I always try to get everything. I try not to ask questions, because I feel like we should know certain things. But there's some things that I just won't know. And if I try to get it, it will block. So I kind of let people I tell them, just relax, just accept it. Once she relaxed and kind of got with the flow, and she got her reading. And I even went over for her because of the 20 minutes of I want a refund that we went through. And I just told her, you're not even giving it a chance. Like, we're 5 minutes in the reading. Like, just chill out. Chill out. And then you have the ones, you know, that just leave in the middle of a reading and don't say anything.
Really?
Yeah. So some of the stuff I mean, they just leave in the middle of the reading. And then I had someone come to me and they're like, I just wanted my father to know I was mad at them. Okay, well, he knows. You don't need to put me in the middle for that. No wonder I can't give you a good reading. You know, you're blocking the energy and you're pissed, you're ticked off at him. He's not going to come through for that. You're not ready to hear anything he's got to say.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a really hard one. And then they just left and didn't say anything. And I never heard from him again. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Your problem, not mine.
Easy read.
You know, I'm not going to waste my time and energy just because you have a beef with him and you're not enlightened enough to let it go.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm pretty sure he knows how you feel about him. And that's why he's like keeping his distance right now. And just like, I'm not coming through to her.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have that forgiveness in your heart and you have to be open to understanding what they're going to say, or they're not going to come through and waste their time on it. And you don't need me to know that. You just tell them, hey, you know, I'm pissed off at you. They know, they hear you. You don't need to put me in the middle of that.
Right.
I don't need to be in the middle of the family drama.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I already am like a therapist anyways.
Right. Pretty much.
You know?
Yeah.
I am. I'm like a spiritual therapist.
Yeah.
People have no idea.
On there. Now, I know what we're over the 2-hour mark, guys. Rachelle, can you hold out for a minute? Like we're gonna get ready to go off here for Adam's birthday, but could you hang on in the back room with us for a minute? Yeah. Would that be okay? Okay. Yeah. So, Adam, I'll let you take it away with saying whatever you want to say. Besides, thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and thank you for. I think as somebody said, they sent me something in Cash App and PayPal. Thank you so much. And thank you, Deb. Thank you, everyone that's wished happy birthday. There was also Charmaine, and then there was who donated $7.42.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. There was nothing on that coffee app or the birthday cake app. But I don't. It was. I think it was in your channel.
Okay. So thank you so much. And Sunny, thank you for arranging this. I did not expect this at all. And like I said, I'm gonna have to think about it all, you know, and thank you, Rachelle.
You're welcome.
But you guys,
the good thing here is it's like here, like you can cut it, rewatch it, download it. Yeah. You know, just cut that part out, keep it.
Yeah, we're too lazy to do that over here.
Yeah, I mean, that way he has it. He can download it, you know, cut it.
Oh, right.
And he has it. Because sometimes when you're in the reading, like it doesn't make sense to you. I have people come back later and they're like, I went back through a reading. Okay. And now this makes sense. Or now I understand this, like where they didn't understand it before, you know?
Thank you, Tom. I was going to say, I mean, because it's streaming to his channel anyway. So he gets,
Tom, it was Diana. Thank you so much. And Charles, no, thank you very much, Charles. I always appreciate what you have to say.
Yeah. So again, Psychic Sleuth channel, Dev from True Crime Aspen, her channel just came up there, and this is Psychic Sleuth channel again. Very much appreciate. This was fun actually, streaming to all the different channels. It's you know, like I said, your company over there, they get to perhaps know this channel. Like I said, we're into the true crime as well. And thank you, Tom Webster. You can just, you know, I doubt he's even moved from his recliner all night, not even to go to the bathroom, because he was so focused on what was going on in here. That's how I see that happening. But anyways, Rachelle, thank you so much for doing this for Adam again. We'll just see you in the back room there. And you guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the love and support that you do give to our channel. Thank you for the kindness of the good friends that truly are the epitome of what great friends are. Like I said, they stand by us, they help us, and we're always willing to give a helping hand to any one of our friends that need us back, because that's what it's all about. And we just appreciate the love and support tonight. And thank you so much to Psychic Sleuth channel for coming in. And of course, as she was streaming, to see this for Adam's birthday and to see Rachelle do her reading there. And yeah, and tell the people that I blocked them. Hope you enjoyed going to Adam's channel.
Good night,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Okay, let me just do the outro. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.